Hello, and welcome to 5 Minute Math. Today we are looking at the fourth grade concept of measurement problems. This is 4.8C Readiness Practice, the advanced version. If you're interested in exploring the intermediate or proficient versions of 4.8C or the Readiness Practice resource aligned with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description. So for our first problem, we've got a little bit of money that has been exchanged here. We paid for lunch with a $20 bill. We have all of these coins left, and we're trying to figure out how much did lunch actually cost. So let's visualize this first with this strip diagram. So if the $20 bill is going to be the total that I had, and then there's two parts here, right? I've got my coins, which I'll figure out in a second, and then here's my question mark, lunch. All right, so I'm going to figure out my coins, then I can subtract that from 20. I can figure out how much my lunch is. So what do I have? I've got 7 quarters. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write down the values. Right, so 25, 25, 25, 25. Let's get that back to 25. And that's going to help me get started, but there might be a more efficient way to do this that we can use. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so what do we have here? We've got 25, 50, 75, that's $1. And then 125, 150, 175. So I'm going to put 175 right there. Now, I've got 5 dimes, so right, I could continue this, right? I could say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. All right, so that's going to be 0.50. I'm lining them up with the decimals because I know I'm going to eventually have to add them. Now, this is where it might get a little bit tedious drawing out 12 nickels, right? If you want to, you could list out 12 nickels like this, or you might just go ahead and do the multiplication in your head or multiplication written down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to put them in 2 rows. You might think, all right, so 12 times 5, since they're 5 cents each, that's 60. So if you want to visualize them, that's fine. You can also just do that. And then since I'm doing all of this, I might as well just do the pennies, but we know that 8 pennies is going to be 8 cents. The only trick, so to speak, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, is that we don't want to put the 8 right here because that's 80 cents. We want to make sure we put the 8 in the hundredths place. All right, so now let's add up to see how much change we have left. So the 5 and the 8 is going to give me 13 pennies. And rename 10 pennies as a dime. So I have got 1 and 7 make 8. And then I've got 5 and 6 make 11. So 8 and 11 is going to make 19. Bring my decimal down. All right, so $2.93 is how much I have left. So to figure out how much lunch is, I need to take that, subtract from 20. Now, 20 doesn't have a decimal, and we know we need to line up the decimal. So if you ever have a whole number like this and there's no decimal, you can always put it after the ones place. So it's going to look like this. And in order for this to work, we're going to need to put 0 dimes, 0 pennies, and then a whole lot of regrouping. I'm going to take a $10 bill, leave 1, and now it's 10 ones. I'm going to take a 1, leave 9, now it's 10 dimes. Take a dime, leave 9, now I've got 10 pennies. Now I can subtract. So 10 minus 3 is 7. 9 dimes minus 9 dimes is 0. That's going to be 7 ones. So there we go, $17.07. And if we wanted to add the 293 back in, that would get us back up to 20. Double check. So we can say lunch cost, and let's just say $17.07. Now we have a movie marathon. We start at 10:34 a.m. and we go all the way to 3:18. How long is the movie marathon? Well, we are trying to figure out a time interval here. And what I find helpful here is when we are using a timeline. There's a few different ways to do this. Adding and subtracting time gets weird when you go over the o'clock or the hour. So I usually find timelines to be a little bit easier. So I'm going to start at 10:34. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding hours. I'm going to try to get as close as I can to 318 by adding 1 hour. So now I've got 11:34. It's another hour. So this is 12:34. It's another hour. I've got 1:34. Got another hour. 2:34. So I'm just taking 1 hour jumps. If I do another hour, that would get me to 3:34. So too small. So now I want to do jumps that are going to get me up to that 318. Okay, so I can take little 10-minute jumps. So 10 minutes, and this is where we have to start writing a little bit smaller. 2:44, another 10-minute, and that's going to be 2:54. Another 10-minute. Now this is where it gets interesting. 2:54, right? If you want, you can take that jump and you can say 3:04. If that doesn't make sense, you can also say, how long does it take? So the 2:54 is fine, but instead of that next jump, we could take a 6-minute jump. So this is 10 minutes, 10 minutes, and 6 minutes. That gets me right here to 3 o'clock. The reason why that's helpful, if I can get to 3 o'clock, well, then I can go ahead and just take my 18-minute jump, and now I'm at 3:18. And so what I'm doing is I'm adding all of these times. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. And then how many minutes do I have? I've got 10, 10, 6, and 18. And I can add that because I know it's going to be less than 60 minutes. When it gets to 60 minutes, you need to regroup it as an hour. So that's going to be 14, and that's 44 minutes. So we can say the movie marathon lasted, and then we'll go ahead and write it like this: 4 HR and then 44 M. Or you can say uh, MIN. There's a few different ways, and if you want, you can abbreviate the H. You can use that for the hour as well. So 4 hours and 44 minutes gets us to that time of 3:18. And then finally, 4.8C measurement problem practice number 3 is we have some apples here. And we're trying to buy bags of apples. And we've got, and I'm just going to put in red. I'll just put a bag like this, and I'll say 3 pounds. Now, the strange thing is we've got an abbreviation of pound with LB, 5OZ. And then a bag of orange. I'll just draw an orange here, 2LB, 14OZ. And what we need to know here is 1 pound equals 16 ounces. That's the unit conversion that we need. So if Sarah's going to buy 2 bags of apples and 3 bags of oranges, how much does it weigh altogether? All right, so let's do another bag of apples. So I've got 3 pounds, 5 ounces, and then I've got 2 more bags of oranges. So another 2 pounds, 14 ounces, and then another 2 pounds, 14 ounces. All right, so it seems pretty simple until we start trying to add all of these ounces, and we're going to realize we've got a lot of ounces. So let's just add our pounds first. Okay, so pounds and then ounces. So 3, 5, 3, 5, 2, 14, 2, 14, 2, 14. So 3, 6, and then another 6, right, gets me 12 pounds. Then if I'm adding in my ounces, I've got 5, 10, and that's 12. and that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 12 pounds, 42 ounces, which is technically correct, but we're not going to say 42 ounces. What we need to do is we need to convert this into ounces that are less than 16. So here's the question. How many pounds are sitting within that 42 ounces? Okay, so let's take 16 away. 16 pounds, remember, 16 ounces, remember, makes 1 pound. So I want to take 16 of these ounces away, and I'm going to rename it as pound. So I'm going to take 16 ounces away from my 42 ounces, and I'm going to say, instead of calling that 16 ounces, I'm going to call it a pound. So 12 pounds, 42 ounces is the same as 13 pounds, 26 ounces. I can get another 16 ounces away. That's going to leave me 10 ounces, and I'm going to add that back in as a pound. So I'm just changing how it works. I can't do a third one because there's only 10 ounces left. So we can say, and we're looking for the bag's weigh. And now we've got a simplified version, 14 lb, and then I'm going to put a 10 OZ. If you are interested in looking at the 4.8C Readiness Practice resource for the proficient or intermediate version, or the Readiness Practice resource aligned with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description.